Welcome to the podcast, where we introduce you to incredible humans who share their journeys with the mission to inspire you to harness your own inner tenacity to drive your life and career forward. And now, your host, Adam Posner.
It's 2 for Tuesday here on the podcast. I have two incredible guests here. I'm going to welcome ladies. We have Natasha and Christina from Tubi, but I'm not going to introduce them. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Tell us who you are and what you do best.
My name's Christina Navarro. I'm head of global TA at Tubi. What I do best is work with the business to help shape their teams.
Thanks, Christina. Hi, Natasha Valani. I am also part of Tubi. I head up HR for Tubi and Tubi Media Group at Fox. I'd say what I do best is I get great teams together to work on hard and interesting things.
Well, now that we have two guests here, one in talent, one in HR, what are some best practices for TA and HR to really work together as besties?
I could start. I think the number one thing for me is whether it's my HR VPs or my recruiters on Christina's team, you have to be part of the business. You have to sit close to your business. You got to know operationally all the data. And if my people are not close to the business, it's a problem. And so I would say that's probably the number one thing.
Yeah, and I would say from an HR and TA perspective, just being really unified in what your collective goals are and kind of working together directionally to make that come to life. We're really lucky. We have really great relationships with our HR VPs, and it just makes us work a lot better, smarter, and faster. So
I think, and this is advice to any recruiter out there, sage advice. You need to future-proof yourself. You need to make yourself invaluable to the company. And the way you're going to do that is embedding yourself with the business, really learning the in and outs of it. So you could be more informed when you talk to the candidates, right? Because you are the first line of communication with any potential new employee coming in there. And B, it's going to make you invaluable as you have conversations within the business too. Now, along the lines of future-proofing in the world of TA, I'm going to say the letters AI. We're going to talk about AI.
let's talk about
Do you feel that AI is going to replace a lot of recruiters' roles?
Not a lot of recruiters' roles, but some recruiter roles. I think AI is really important in terms of automations, but it doesn't replace relationships. I think when you think about transactional hiring efforts and things like that are more volume specific, I could see some shifts there. But when you think about executive search, when you think about professional hiring,
Please stay human.
it's going to stay human, and it needs to. I think you need to leverage AI to make you work smarter, but you still need human discernment to really make it the most impactful.
Use it
Can
as
I
a
plus
tool
one
and not a
that?
crutch. You can plus 3 if you want.
Plus 3. I just want to add, +2, +3. That human touch, because I talk to candidates on the other end sometimes when we hire them, it goes so far. It's, wow, my HR VP to my recruiter to my hiring manager to the IT person who onboarded me, all of it felt like it was cohesive, it was connected. And so I think there's still a place for that.
Absolutely. So this is actually pretty cool here. Let's talk about a couple of best practices, high level, of taking that experience from the candidate experience to the employee experience being a seamless and positive, lack for a better word, experience. What are some best practices?
It's every touch point has to feel seamless. Every touch point the way we do it at Tubi, and we pride ourselves on this, is before you join, you get a swag box delivered to your front door. These aren't new things. These are just great things to make you feel like you are loyal to a company. I'm excited to be here. We have the benefit of working for a very exciting brand. So people are like, I work for this amazing advertising-free content
But what if you
brand.
didn't?
So
What if you didn't? What are some of the learnings at a company who may not be as
Fair.
name recognition? Because listen, sometimes unsexy makes a lot of money in this world. What are some best practices?
yeah. It's honestly, it's not to fumble. And if you fumble, own up to it. I would say that's
Love that.
probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I would say back to the HR business partnership conversation we were having earlier, just really understanding what the end-to-end pre-boarding and onboarding process looks like, what it looks like on the TA side, and really kind of bridging that gap together. And then we're really big on feedback. from candidates, hiring managers, everybody that's involved. So really leaning into that and taking that to iterate your process.
So let's talk about the current market right now. Everyone knows brutal is an understatement. It's brutal out there. There are so many good folks out of work. There's so many tech companies and other companies with layoffs. And right now we have a supply problem. There's too much supply. There's too much supply. How does the TA team and the HR team manage this incredible? I can't even imagine the throw a number out to me. Let's start here. I want to know how you manage it, but throw a number out to me. The most ridiculous number of applicants you have for an open rec right now.
11,000.
11. What kind of role is it?
Early career. We just launched a new rotational program that we're really
internship?
Excited about. It's not an internship program. It's an early career program, and it's really designed to have early career talent work on really impactful initiatives and gain mentorship, hands-on learning, and work on projects that really move the business forward. We did a lot of advertising, but we can lean on our brand to help from a talent attraction perspective. Had 11,000 applicants. We reviewed every single application, but we had to kind of divide and conquer from a human resourcing perspective. We had to get really smart with the different features within the Greenhouse platform to filter, to use Boolean search strings, to screen in, to screen out.
So let's lift up the hood a little bit here. Listen, us in the people business, we have to keep empathy top of mind. We have to always remember that there's a person at the end of every application. I have a little bit of a spicy hot take where I feel the level of qualification of applying to a job should be predicated on the response that you get because of a volume problem. If you're applying to a role and you're 100% not qualified for it, it's an automated email. Obviously, if someone goes through the process and they're spending time, you level up the human touch of it there too. How the hell do you do that with 11,000 people? How do you manage it? What were some of the lessons learned from going through this process where you also obviously have to keep the Tubi candidate and brand reputation in mind? How'd you guys do that?
Yeah, so we definitely use screener questions for minimum calls. So that was a definite. But I would say one of the things that was really important from a candidate experience perspective was making sure that everybody got some kind of response within 7 days. So we had to really make sure that resume review for this stage in our process was prioritized, and we had to resource it appropriately. We really wanted to make sure that we reviewed every application.
That's
and
incredible.
We were intentional behind it, but there was a lot of support around the program. So not just within the TA team, but the business leaders were partnering with us to review those apps.
I love it. How many, just for everyone out there, 11,000 applications, how many open positions for that?
19.
I mean, it's still a ridiculous ratio.
Well, we replaced our internship program because we felt traditional internship programs don't actually work. You
Why
get
don't they work?
2 to 3 months on a job. You're basically doing database, very minute tasks. And so we said we have to make a trade-off. We're going to sunset that program. We're going to replace it with an 18-month deep rotation program.
I like this.
The one thing I do love about it, I just want to plug this in, is the accessibility piece. Because a lot of people can't take the time off to do a 2 to 3 month commitment with little to no pay, with no benefits. But an 18-month true rotation program for early career talent gives you just that. It gives you substance. It gives you substance, and it's highly paid and competitive paid. We're not overpaying, competitively paid. But it also gives you full benefits to take a chance.
That's tremendous. And it's kind of making me think of, I kind of tell the story, and everyone who's a fan of the show, they know I've said it 1,000 times. What I love about this rotation program, I think one of the most important things for anyone new in their career is not so much to learn what you like to do, but learning what you don't like. Like I learned early on when I was working at Amex that I freaking hated the numbers part. I hated the analytics. I hated the numbers. It was not my strong suit. So as I progressed through my career, I leaned into my strengths. I found other roles where I didn't have to do as much as that. This rotation program, what departments are they touching? They're going through everything?
So it's tech focused right now. So it's 3 months in machine learning, 3 months in product, and 3 months in engineering.
Actually, so those are the 3 tracks. And then within those 3 tracks, you spend 6 months within specialized domains for those respective tracks. So there's a little bit of variability to it, but there's a lot that you could do. So if you love this one aspect of product management, like UX or design, but not so much the product management space, you will learn that throughout the rotational program.
You know, the pieces you could take with you.
Yeah, and to your point, you get to understand what you don't love to do, and you're just like, well, I thought ML was for me because it pays high.
Nope.
I'm not great at it, so I'll stick to product. That's okay.
I love this. I think there's a great tip out there for any companies out there. And I think you can do this at any size company, is to rethink. Listen, I've had internships. I assume you guys have been. They were invaluable. They were like gold to me. It gave me experience into what it's actually like when you go from college to the workforce, or if some folks haven't been in college, when you're going into the workforce, it's a different lifestyle. It's a different pace, and you need to, kind of dip your toes in. So let's switch gears for a moment here.
Hey everyone, we'll jump right back into the conversation, but first let's talk about a game changer in hiring, Greenhouse. Greenhouse is the leading hiring platform that helps companies get measurably better at hiring. Because when it comes to building great teams, every hire should be the right hire. With Greenhouse, you don't just fill roles, you transform your hiring with a structured process that ensures fairness, removes bias, and enables data-driven decisions. AI-powered workflows in Greenhouse streamline every step from sourcing top talent to personalizing the candidate experience, allowing recruiters to focus on strategic, high-impact hiring that drives real business outcomes. The result? A faster, more efficient process that turns talent into a true competitive advantage. Over 7,500 companies, including HubSpot, Duolingo, Gong, JD Power, and Scout24, trust Greenhouse to optimize their hiring process and take candidates from talented prospects to top performers. And it's not just the best hiring platform, it's also a great place to work. Greenhouse has been recognized by Fortune, Inc. magazine, Glassdoor, Forbes, and more as a top workplace. Want to hire better, faster, and more fairly? Visit greenhouse.com today and get ready to hire for what's next. All right, back to the show.
Learn it all culture. Learn it all culture. Learn it all culture. What does that mean?
To me, what sticks out is just learnability. Can I throw you into anything, and can you just learn and absorb and be a sponge into whatever I throw you into? To me, that's learn it all.
Yeah, I would say curiosity. I think that's something that we really look for across all of our talent segments.
Curiosity. Huge quality right there.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that we value. I think that's where innovation is really born. So I think at Tubi, we're looking for bold thinkers. So that's always something top of mind when we're kind of navigating through the evaluation process, for sure.
So speaking of culture, speaking of growth, it's been incredible. Tremendous presence in the Super Bowl, driving a lot. New York Times had a piece on Tubi. Tubi's blowing up, which is a good thing. How do you manage growth at such a rapid scale? How do you manage it from a culture perspective? How do you manage it from a people tech perspective? One for you and one for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to start. Honestly, it's fun. You got to have fun along the way. Scaling is not an easy thing to do. I mean, I have the benefit of sitting with our senior leaders every day, talking about where we're going to pivot on strategy, where we need to do things differently. I think the biggest thing that with all of this success, there are trade-offs and tough conversations that need to be made. And I think just as much as you're adding to the Tubi portfolio, whether it's from a talent perspective, if you're going to hire more or less, or you decide to pick up a brand new software, the question we always have to ask ourselves in any of those conversations is, what are we going to subtract? Mm-hmm. You cannot just add to scale. You have to bring back something. And that was actually a really good example in our rotation program where we had the tough conversation to sunset traditional interns and move away from that.
Yeah. I would say when you scale up or scale down, just making sure that you have the right team in place to support that in whatever direction it looks like. For me, it's been really helpful to have utility players that can flex across multiple domains. And you have to operationalize your TA function so that you're cutting out all of the noise, especially when it comes to tech solutions and things like that. I know we talk a lot about AI, but any tool that you use should really enhance your process and not, just be there because everybody's using some kind of like AI tool.
Let's have a tough conversation about tough conversations. What are some best practices? Sometimes we have to offboard folks. What are some best practices out there that you have found, either maybe as a employee, and obviously when you have to communicate to someone that their time has come to end in an organization?
So I've been on the end of those conversations. I've actually been on the other side of that conversation too. And I would say the thing that I think we do best across Fox and Tubi is that it's always a personal touch. You're not getting an email to sunset your position. It's, I'm getting on a call with you. I'm going to amicably talk about the reason we got to this decision. I'm going to also talk about, our business leaders join that conversation too, and they always talk about the rationale. And then we split amicably. And I always open the door to, how can I help you? I want to use my network. I want to make sure that you can find something else. If you need more health insurance, let's have the flexibility of having that conversation.
You want to provide a soft landing.
Exactly. And sorry, I don't know if there's...
Yeah, no, I'm 100% aligned.
All right. Let's talk about the biggest challenges right now in your day-to-day. What's the biggest challenge for you as someone who's leading the talent process? We already mentioned, we all know the market. We know how crazy it is. What's keeping you up at night on the TA side?
What's keeping me up at night? I feel like we have so many great things in place. I can't say that there's anything keeping me up at night, but I would say that the talent landscape is changing so much that just being able to stay on top of innovation and kind of what's actually taking place and ensuring that you're introducing the right things to support the business, I would say that that's probably the one thing that I'm paying the most attention to.
Same question for me.
Why not?
What's keeping me up at night? I worry, not so much with Tubi in general. I worry that a lot of companies are doing this, we're going to do more, but with less mentality, because the stock market crushes on layoffs and efficiencies. And I actually think we need to pivot that question to more around, let's do the right things with the right people. Because this goes back to the subtraction thing where I'd rather,
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, all right, you're agreeing with me. Okay.
That's my green tab.
That's your green tab. Okay. All right, well, I agree with me as well.
It's be too loud on my microphone, yes.
But I think it's just that. I think you need to find areas that no longer serve a business and just get the right people to focus on the right things.
No, let's move over to the positive side. First and foremost, what do you guys love about working in the greenhouse?
Structured hiring. Structured hiring is what I found to be the most effective way to evaluate really great talent. Tubi has an incredibly high hiring bar, and it's helped us create a really collaborative hiring culture where hiring managers are really engaged, our recruiters could work really fast, and we could provide a really great candidate experience.
Yeah, I mean, I find that you need to empower your team, not just with the best tools, but the training and how to use it. And it's executive championing. The executives have to champion it. It has to come from the top and say, this is what we're using, here's why we're using it, here's why it's effective, and show how it's going to help everybody be more efficient. There's nothing worse, and we all know this, we all work with other companies, when it's just, I call it a scrambled eggs process, where people are throwing things into the mix. Hey, doing them yet? Are they on the schedule? Where are we at with that? And you're like, no, we can't be doing this, because at the end of the day, every open role has a $sign on it, because that means, whether it be attritions or layoffs, whatever, that some other employee is doing 2 or 3 times the work, and they may be frustrated and on the way out themselves, and it's a diminishing return there. Yeah. What about yourself with Greenhouse?
I love the feedback functionality. I love to be able to go in and I can track feedback when we do our debriefs at the end. Who's a strong yes? Who's a no? Let's debate the no's. Why are we a no on this? So it is honestly, it's one of the best in class applicant tracking systems I've ever encountered.
Awesome, love it. What are you excited about in this space, just from a technology, a people perspective? I want to end on a good note. What's making you smile these days in the people world?
In the people world, well, right now that I'm here and I get to share ideas and learn from other folks that are doing really great things, that's, again, like that human element, that relationship piece, and just getting to learn from some of the best kind of leaders in the business. I would say that that's kind of what's top of mind for me right now.
I just have to voice over that. Somebody just flipped you off.
Oh, that's Joel. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, that's friendly.
Oh, that's a friendly flip off.
That's friendly fire.
Got it.
That's friendly fire.
All right. Got it.
Shout out to the Chatted Cheese podcast, the most dangerous podcast out there.
That's hilarious.
What excites me the most?
Abundancy.
Well, for me, it's a sense of belonging. I think the themes that I'm hearing in a lot of the sessions is just finding that flexibility to promote that sense of belonging for anybody. So,
That's awesome. All right, let's leave it with one more good thing here. What are you guys excited about for Transform? Whether it's somebody speaking, or maybe it's you guys hitting a show up, dinners. What's getting you excited here? What do you love about this?
For me, it's connecting with my team and seeing what's out there, and that puppy station. I need to go pet a puppy.
I'm gonna go check that out.
They're
definitely.
sold out apparently of
Sold
spots.
out? Were they selling them?
No,
Any
they're not.
spots? Am I gonna have to get a puppy home?
I need a tote bag big enough to carry a puppy
You
out.
just
Is what
smuggle
I
a puppy
need.
home.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Love that. Getting to meet some leaders that I've been following for a while. Rocky Howard's here.
Rocky's my homie.
Yeah, John Velasquez here. So like all of the big influencers and thought leaders within this space, and of course, obviously, getting to spend time with my team.
It's exciting, right?
But it's super fun.
Well, awesome. Where can folks find you guys? Where can they connect? Where can they learn more?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Natasha Valani. Feel free to hit me up.
Same, Christina Navarro.
I want to thank our friends over at Tubi. Thanks our friends over at Greenhouse. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Wisdom is forever, but for us, it's time to go. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we'll be back with our next episode soon, jam-packed with more incredible humans. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing. To join the conversation, search the podcast on LinkedIn. And to catch up on past episodes and more info, please visit www.thepodcast.com.